Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 14, verse 15, and he's continuing to talk about the modes of material nature. So he explains it pretty well here. It's very easy to understand verses. The previous verse was talking about what happens when a person is primarily in a mode of Satuguna and he dies, and then this verse talks about Rajaguna as well as Tamoguna. So let's call out to Krishna. Let's pray. Let's do our prayer and then we'll sing the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please help us be as authentic as possible. Please help us drop all ego as much as possible from our being that is not serving us, that is not helping us get closer to you. Please help us get closer to you. Please help us have humility. Please help us have a strong desire for love for you. Please help us be mad about you. Please help us have the desire to be mad about you if we're not mad about you yet. Please help us have the desire to have the desire if we don't have the desire yet. Please help us to get whatever the next step is to get closer to you. Please help us with that. We beg you and thank you for helping us by giving us this Gita, so easily accessible, and please help us understand this verse. Okay, so let's sing the verse. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the previous one very quickly. He said, in the mode, when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains pure higher planets of the great sages. Now, I'm not sure what these higher planets are, but he just says higher planets. So he says, Lokan, planets of the Uttama Vedam. Uttama means ultimate, and Vedam, I'm assuming, sages. So, and Amala, Amalan is free from modes of passion. So we don't know exactly what they're like saying different things, but great sages. So now let's sing this verse together. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangeshu jayate tatha pralinatas tatha pralinastamasि Mudhayoneshu jayate. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth amongst those engaged in fruitive activities. That's what passion is, right? Do, go, go. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Pretty clear, right? So when one dies in the mode of passion, when one is like mostly in fruitive activities in this, then he is likely to come back in as a human being in the next life. So they're likely to at least come back as human being, and they at least likely are likely. I can't speak today apparently. They are at least likely to come back as a human, and then they might have some opportunity to come across some devotee or something so that they can have Krishna's mercy. That's something. Human life is so important. But if you die in the mode of ignorance, then you take birth in the animal kingdom. So we want as much as possible, at the very least, to stop living in the mode of ignorance, which I'm assuming anybody who's reading the Gita is almost certainly not. Like anybody who's watching this video, learning the Gita, reading the Gita, is very, very highly unlikely to be living in the mode of ignorance. But yes, we should be careful, follow the 4 regulative principles, which means no intoxications, no gambling, no illicit sex. What is the 4th one? I know these like the back of my hand, and I'm not remembering. No, no meat eating. Yeah. So yeah, give up meat. That is the hardest thing probably for people. Maybe drinking is the hardest thing to give up. Also smoking, drinking, those kinds of things might be. Mushrooms nowadays, my goodness, stop all of that. Even caffeine, as much as you can, stop that. But caffeine might be a very big stretch. But give up something. If you're have any one of these things, give up something. I mean, if you're eating meat even, then give up like one form of meat, right? Like, I mean, do make some effort, something. But ideally what I believe is that you don't even need to give up. When you build higher taste, when you start attending these lectures and these classes and things, I've seen so many people, it just clicks for them. And one day, so many people have told me that they used to eat meat, and one day it just clicked for them and they stopped. It happened with me also. But it didn't happen through the Krishna consciousness path. I went to the 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat. This was 2014, 10 years ago, long before. Like, started my Krishna consciousness journey 2 years ago. So this was like when I was an atheist. But I went to this retreat. I had no intention of leaving meat or like whatever. I didn't like it. I used to eat it just for social approval. Like, literally, I realized that at that Vipassana retreat, that the only reason I am um, eating is for social approval. Like, I have no desire to. I feel guilty every time. I brought that from the past life anyways. But many people who did enjoy it also, they would attend a class. There's an ISKCON class called Discover Yourself, which is a universal class across the world. So if wherever you are, you can pretty much find the temple and ask them, do you have a Discover Yourself class? And they'll probably be able to tell you many different classes that are happening or starting soon or something, because it's a very popular, like, beginner level class. So yeah, so you join that. I mean, I know so many people who just join that class or join a Bhagavad Gita class or attend lectures or something like that, and they'll just give up meat because they'll understand why to give up meat, right? Like, there is a purpose behind it. There is a reason behind it. That you need to understand why before you do anything. So yeah, so then yeah, try to give up something. Okay, so where am I? Okay, so that's it. So when you're in a mode of passion, then you come back as human being most likely. And when you're in mode of ignorance, you take birth as an animal kingdom. Then you have to work through all those 8.4 million, depending on where you are in the spectrum of those 8.4 million species. You have to work through all of the rest of them in the lineage, and then come to human being. So it's a form of evolution, but not exactly evolution. um, yeah, okay, it's the same thing here. Let me just read Bhaktivinoda Thakur. When a person primarily possessing Rajoguna dies, he is born in a family of Brahmanas, etc. So this I didn't understand at all. I thought Brahmanas were Satoguna, who are attached to karma, because Brahmanas are not attached to karma. So I'm very confused about this. When a person is engrossed in Tamoguna dies, he is born within the womb of the ignorant, such as animals. That's clear. Okay, so that's it for this verse. We'll see you in the next verse, chapter 14, verse 16. Wish you a day filled with lots of Krishna's grace. Radhe Radhe.